So I want to break down something right here because this is where the psychology meets spirituality. When you go through trauma, especially going through trauma as a youth, your brain literally creates a survival identity. What that is it's a version of you that knows how to navigate danger, chaos, and unpredictability. This version of you learns how to read rooms before you've even physically learned how to read or comprehend, let alone read yourself. It teaches you how to anticipate emotional shifts in people, right? So, like that hyper vigilance, that hypersensitivity, and being able to kind of pick apart what somebody else is feeling, kind of reading between the lines, right? And it teaches you how to be responsible for things that were never yours. It also teaches you how to stay silent in order to avoid conflict, right? So essentially, you're learning how to shrink yourself because you ultimately crave safety and you find that speaking your truth causes turmoil, right? Which is equivalent or the opposite of safety, right? It essentially puts your ego perceptively into a level of danger. It teaches you how to shrink in order to stay safe, how to disconnect from your emotions so that you can function. And that's a pretty heavy one for me because that was something that I really had to learn how to do, right? To the point where I started to look in the mirror and question the woman that was looking back at me. Like, I'm not this person. I remember at one point in my life being so happy, right? I used to be so happy, so outgoing, um, just so full of life. And now, like when I look at myself, I can still see the resonance or the residue of the trauma. It teaches you how to perform strength while internally screaming for help, right? Because asking for help is dangerous. And I talked about this before in an episode on a different podcast about how, we are essentially trained to be strong, be hyper independent. It's not okay to ask for help, right? Because when you do, you're met with resistance, you're met with judgment, all these things that kind of take away from, the communal part of being able to help other people and then also, being able to accept help for yourself, right? This survival self becomes your personality essentially. But just because it becomes your personality, it doesn't make it your truth. It doesn't mean that it is your particular truth. It's not who you were born to be, right? It's what the byproduct of the trauma, what came out of all of that, right? It's who you had to become in order to stay alive.